Pull back the fairy. Seems like we're gonna get a hit in. Do we get to do it? Oh boy. Yes! Yes! We get to steal Emrakul. Oh, that's the best thing ever. Take that, Breach. Take that. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to another Magic the Gathering video. I'm the Magic the Gathering Gamer, which is apparently a title I've to stick with, and they have something celebration of the newest Magic the Gathering set that's soon to come out, Kamigawa. But this is Modern Ninjas. Yay, hooray, celebration. So this is another Saffron Olive budget magic deck that he then made a non-budget version of. And I kind of split the difference between his non-budget version of the deck and the budget version of the deck with things that I already owned or things that were literal pennies from Card Hoarder to play Magic on. Let's go ahead and run down what this deck is, what it's trying to do, and what I expect to happen. So this deck has a small engine. You have these little 1-drops that are either kind of evasive, Fairy Seer letting you set up the next couple draws, as well as flying. Slither Blade, which just can't be blocked. Changeling Outcast, which also can't be blocked, does have the downside of not being able to block itself. A main deck, Cling to Dust, which is just because graveyard stuff is everywhere and it's good to burn. Fatal Pushes, which, again, just good removal. Inquisitions, 3 of those, and 3 Thought Seizes to take our little 1-drops. And we actually put those over into our big creature. So Ninja the Deep Hours, very well-known magic card. If you've never run into it before, though, it's a 4-drop, but it has an ability called Ninjutsu, which allows you to put it into play for 2 mana, tapped and attacking if you have an unblocked creature. Like any of these creatures here, which either just straight up can't be blocked or are really hard. There's also Ingenious Infiltrator from Modern Horizons 1, which is like a slightly better Ninja of the Deep Hours, but it is a little restrictive on its colors and the fact that it needs black in order to Ninjutsu out, as opposed to Ninja of the Deep Hours, which just needs anything. Finally, the finisher of the Ninjutsu pack, Fallen Shinobi, which allows you to steal the top 2 cards off your opponent's deck and then play those cards. So that includes lands if you have made a land drop, and of course any spells at no mana cost. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is a big, bad Ragavan, and you're right. And everything else in the deck is kind of based around supporting that as much as can. We have 4 Drown in the Locks because they're awesome removal as well as just hard counters 99% of the time. Snapcaster Mage, just 2 of them. This is one of the things that I changed list that MTG Goldfish Alert ran with because they had 3 Snapcaster Mages, 2 Fallen Shinobis, but Fallen Shinobi is really how you're going to win the game. And a lot of the times I found myself boarding the Snapcasters out because there's not a lot of things you want to do here. What you want to do is get your little 1-drops down, then into one of your 4-drops, which allows you to draw cards every time they hit your opponent, into finding Fallen Shinobi, because not only does this steal things off the top of your opponent decks and is a feel bad, but it's also dealing 5 damage every time it actually makes contact opponent. One just random dismember in there, always good to have a little bit of extra removal, and then basic land package. This land package is very suboptimal, and essentially it's because I only own 2 polluted on Magic Online, and they're about $15 a piece as per this recording, and I didn't want to spend $30 on porting. So we're just running the fetch lands I have. So 2 polluted deltas, which are of course the best in the deck. Then, like just random Misty Rainforest, Flooded Strand, 2 Bloodstained. Just again, whatever I had got thrown in so that we could fetch out a couple of islands, a couple of swamps, 4 Watery Graves. It also would run Pathways according to Saffron Olive, but I don't want to buy them. This is literally just a pile of whatever I had or whatever was ridiculously cheap. And of course, 1 Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth, which turns the Mistless Factories, the islands, and the fetch lands into swamps, which is just a handy thing to do, considering that a good amount of this deck, as you can. All right, let's take a look at the sideboard as well. So the sideboard, to me, when he comes out with these decks, the sideboards are always very tuned to what the meta is at the time. So while some of the items in this sideboard reflect the meta when the original recording from Saffron Olive was created, I also did change it just based on new cards that came out and other things I'll probably run into while running this league, because I've decided rather than doing individual one-on-one matches, because those just take so long to find, like really weird part of the world to try and do these recordings. But also, I've noticed something about Saffron Olive's decks. They're designed to take out the meta. They really don't perform as well against other off-the-wall strategies as they do against burn, aggro stuff, control, like known archetypes of the modern format. These decks are kind of designed to fight against. They're not designed to be real good all-round So Flusterstorm, just good to have against control decks or otherwise decks that are instant sorceries you would prefer not to go off. 2 Echoing Truths. These are really here because Ensnaring Bridge is a card. And with Prisontron running around, other artifact decks going, having a couple of Echoing Truths to bounce people pieces to their hands is to have. Also, if you happen to run into Boggles, it's a good way to bounce their enchantments off their creature. 2 Mystical Disputes. Again, just good against control or otherwise blue decks that you might run into. Counter things. A 2nd Cling to Dust. Again, just really good graveyard hate, as well as a draw engine inevitability as far as just doing something with your graveyard. 1 Ashiok Dreamrender. Again, good against things like control, good against things that are tutoring out of their deck a lot, or just good to blow up a graveyard, run into Dredge or anything like that. Ashiok is one of the few things that Dredge just looks at and goes, okay, well, unless I kill that, I straight up can't do anything. 2 Nile Spell Bombs, again, just more graveyard hate, and I decided to leave in the ridiculous amount of graveyard hate that was in here because, again, Dragon Rage Channeler is a thing. So, again, just 2 more bits of graveyard hate along with the ability to draw off of activating the graveyard hate, which is good. 1 Pithing Needle just to take out Planeswalker or otherwise infinite combos. 2 Dampening Spheres for Tron and or Titan. 1 Emrakul's Aeon Torn, which I don't even think could be legally cast in the deck. I would have to get the Urborg and then just play out a whole bunch of other things. Normally fetching, you can't play it. It's just here if we play against Mill as a haha surprise, so that hopefully they don't have the Surgical Extraction in their hand, able to have another go at it. And 2 Chalice of the Void. Now, you might be looking at this deck going, Brian, you have 21 1-drops. So what are you doing with Chalice of the Void? The Chalices are just there for cascade things like Living End, things like the Rhino deck. We have nothing for them. So just throwing down a Chalice on trying to stop them, making them have to spend time disenchanting the Chalices while we try and set up our ridiculous draw engine here is really what we're up for. Because again, if you look at this deck, it doesn't actually do a ton other than draw cards. And the Fallen Shinobis, while they do a lot of damage on their own and demoralize the opponent by stealing their best cards, hopefully, and putting them into play for free, other than that, we're just kind of chipping in with, 1/1s and 2/2s. It's not a very fast deck, but I have seen it work well. I've played a couple of practice games off camera, and I'm happy enough with it that I figured, hey, Kamigawa's coming up. Let's go ahead and run Modern Ninjas through League and see how we do. Based on my personal play style, as well as other videos I've recorded, I'm expecting a 2-3 or a 1-4. So come along for the ride, and let's see how many games we can, let's be honest, straight up steal out of a Modern League. You guys there? All right, and we found our first opponent. Let's see what we're up against today. Shahar. I think that's how you say it. Luck, have fun, my friend. Okay, so a good hand would generally be 2 lands, a 1-drop creature, and a ninja. We only have 1 land, but we have Fairy Seer, so we're going to be able to look at quite a few of the top cards, and we're also going second, which means we're going to see 1 more card on top of that. So hopefully we'll be able to find our second land, because once we find our second land, we have enough in this hand to kind of get going. So let's see what our opponent's doing. Esper Sentinel. So this is probably hammer time, right? We draw a Drown in the Lock, which means we do have to set up, try and find a second land. Go ahead and Fairy Seer, see if we can't find one in the top 3 at this point. We did find one. We found a Bloodstained Mire and an Ingenious Infiltrate. We have too many ninjas, so we'll put that to the bottom, but we'll leave the Bloodstained Mire on top, and we'll go ahead and hope that they don't go Sigarda's Aid, Hammer, murder us. All right, opponent untaps, plays an Arid Mesa. Looks like they're going to pass, which is good for us. We draw the Bloodstained Mire. Now, there's an argument to be made that we leave up Drown in the Lock, but there's nothing in their graveyard. So, yeah, we could just Fatal Push Inquisition, which might be the right thing to do now that I think about it. We need to stop them from combo. Let's go ahead and Inquisition, what they're up against. No, you get to draw a card because I'm going to get to rip one out of your hand. Like they might be removing the Fairy Seer. Crack their fetch, and they Solitude Evoke. Means they're going to Ephemerate? Yeah, they get rid of the Fairy Seer, which... Oh, they didn't Ephemerate. That's weird. It's in their hand that they're twitchy about. Oh, it's like a broad pack. That is unfortunate. So now they have a Solitude in play, which really, unless we find the... Oh, we could have Cling to Dust at instant speed. We're bad at the game. And there's nothing... Okay, so we already punted. That was quick. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get a Swamp and push the Sentinel. And then from there, we'll try and find a way to kill the Solitude. But their hand is just a couple of lands and a Fear. Crack their fetch, which is great for us. We want them to get as many things in the graveyard as possible. So they're playing a Ragavan deck, which immediately makes them enemy number 1. Do they find our Dismember, which is, you know, the one thing we don't want them to steal? Changeling Outcast. They can have a Changeling Outcast. Our opponent does cast Changeling Outcast. Looks like they're just going to go full aggro. See what we draw. Our own Changeling Outcast. Well, we're going to get hit for roughly 1 million, and there's going to be a Ragavan. I guess we play Changeling Outcast, and we try and set up for a Ninja next turn while keeping Cling to Dust in our hand to do something cool. They try and go off again, but I think they're already so far ahead thanks to our punt of not insta-speeding Solitude, brought back, put it into play. We would have been in a much better position. Hey, you don't watch these games because I'm so good at the game. When it plays a Sunbaked Canyon, cycles the Sunbaked Canyon, plays a Blood Moon. Okay, well now's as good a time as any then to Cling to Dust. This will get rid of the brought back. Couldn't tell you what the best thing to do is, but drawing a card seems good then, you know, doing nothing. We draw Fairy Seer, which soon is completely uncastable unless we find one of our 2 islands. Opponent swings in for 4, gains 3, goes, do we drop to 8? Do we draw an island? Now we draw Dark Slick Shores. I think it's safe to say that this game is over. We'll go ahead and just for our own idea, we can see what our top card now. No. All right, so just generic Ragavan. We wanted this thing. So another Cling to Dust because they are doing broadbacks. Ashiok is too slow, probably. The Nile Spellbomb could also like kinda undo what they're doing, but I have to assume there's also a. We don't want Echoing Truth because we don't want to bounce their thing back to them. What do we want to take out though? Thoughtseize seems good. Inquisition Member seems good. Fatal Pushes seem good against Ragavan. You have to cut one thing. Honestly, I think it's the mages. I think we do cut the 2 mages because they really don't do a ton. They're kind of cute, but I think they're a little outdated. I just couldn't think of anything else to put in for them. And we'll put in 2 Nile Spellbombs, and we'll just... Ooh, 1 Nile Spell. My bad. And we'll just try and attack the graveyard that way. We have 3 pieces of Graveyard Hate. So hopefully when they kind of go off, we'll be able to protect ourselves. But I like to play first. I would love to play. So this is kind of risky because they could just go off because they have Solitudes and Ragavans and all that. But honestly, this is what you're looking for with it. Just lands, enabler, payoff. So hopefully we can get down the Changeling Outcast without much fuss and then start drawing cards because it doesn't look like they do a ton of movely stuff outside of the elementals themselves. So if they have Ephemerate, I don't think we were winning that game. Just hook, line, and sinker at the Outcast and cross our fingers. Opponent plays a Marsh Flats and looks like they're going to pass the turn. Like we will be able to kind of go off for a bit. Drown in the Lock doesn't do a ton out of the gate. We'll just go get an island with a Flooded Strand to try and thin our deck because we have as many lands as we want now. For the swing, probably get hit by Ragavan, but there's nothing we can just kind of hope that they either find a land like a 4-mana ninja or something past. We've hit them. We've accomplished goal number 1, which is draw cards off of ninjas, and there's a second Ingenious Infiltrator. So hopefully our opponent fills their graveyard and doesn't brought back. There's the first cracking. Gets a basic plains. I have a feeling this is a brought back. They gotta get another basic plains. Yep. So this looks like a brought back. Oh, Sanctifier. Okay, fine. Again, we really don't interact a ton, and we took our Snapcasters out, so that's not the worst thing. I mean, we have 1 Ingenious Infiltrator that's really not going to be able to get through, but should be fine unless they start removing a ton of our crew. So next turn we want to Fallen Shinobi. That means this turn we want to play a Changeling Outcast. I think we can get away with just playing 1 and leave up Drown in the Lock for their shenanigans. We'll see what they do though. No use attacking. So opponent untaps. Has a Sacred Foundry, so this is a Blood Moon. They shocked themselves for 14. This is a Fury evoked, so we can't do anything about Fury. It's to machine gun down all of our stuff because it's 5 draw. Okay, they're going to let it die, and then they're going to try and bring back Ephemerate. Okay, well, good news is we can still take down Ephemerate. Get our other Swamp just in case they have another Blood Moon. If they have a brought back now... Oh, Sanctifier exiled their own thing. That's kind of funny. They'll probably hit us with Sanctifier. That's fine. All right, we untap and draw an Urborg. No reason to play that out. Truth be told, I'm just going to run out, actually, just leave. I guess we just run out the Changeling Outcast and we try and Fallen Shinobi next turn. I mean, dealing 5 is not a small amount of damage. And we can Fallen Shinobi and replay the Outcast if the Outcast survives. Opponent untaps, plays a Marsh Flats. They can just hardcast things now. Ranger Captain of Eo. Sure. So really what would be best for us is if we attack with Fallen Shinobi, and then we find a Fury and a Solitude. Take out their creatures, Raven Inspector, that's fine. To take out their creatures as well as, you know, exile the Sanctifier. Right now there are 2 cards worth 3. I'm hoping Fallen Shinobi really gets in. Well, they attack with the Sanctifier, because I guess they can't block the Outcast anyway. And we get to our turn and draw a Watery. There's no reason to play the land before combat, so we'll attack. We'll prize them on. So here's why you play this deck. You just play this deck to do this, and just everyone clap their hands at home and believe. I'll know if you're clapping. A Ranger Captain of Eos and a Sacred Foundry. We can play something better than a Sacred Foundry, but we will play the Ranger Captain of Eos, because that'll stop that from the Sanctifier from attacking. We actually have a whole bunch in our deck we can grab too. So I guess we get the Fairy Seer, because that'll help us scry a little bit. We're already at 13 though. We're really not going to be able to stop them from going off with Element. So we can play the Urborg, take 0, replay Changeling Outcast, and then attack with Ingenious Infiltrator next turn. Or we can Fairy Seer, take 2 damage, drop to 11, and try and affect our deck a bit. Probably want to take 2 damage and try and affect our deck a bit, because if we just draw a land, that's kind of the end. What would be great is like another Fallen Shinobi, Ninja of the Deep Hours, and Darkslick Shores, definitely to the bottom. Now let's think about Ninja. So we're going to have Fairy Seer, which is going to be able to swing in, and we can turn that into the Ingenious Infiltrator. No Ninja required. And then we're trying to top deck a better Ninja than Ninja of the Deep Hours. Probably fine, so we're just going for a better top deck. And we pass the turn, right? Opponent untaps. Go down to the Skull. So they're going to draw a whole bunch of cards. Well, pseudo draw a whole bunch of cards for next turn. See what they grab. Oh, they're putting them over there. Another showdown and a whole bunch of land. That's honestly amazing, because we've stopped the bleeding with our own Ranger Cap. We draw an Ingenious Infiltrator anyway. Good. We attack with Fallen Shinobi. They block with Sanctifier Invect. Nothing happens. We attack with Ranger Captain of Eos. They block with Thraben Inspector. Nothing really happens. And then on the crackback, we take about 5. There's no reason to attack with Fallen Shinobi. They can either trade the Ranger Captains for each other, or they can just chump with Thraben Inspector. Still got to draw a card, at least one, off of Ingenious Infiltrator. Because I guess they could double block with Ranger Captain and Sanctifier to kill the Fallen Shinobi. Next turn, whenever they cast a spell, put a +1/+1 on target creature they control. We probably want our Ranger Captain to block next turn, so let's just swing in with the Fairy Seer. See what we draw off our Ingenious Trader. You can always just replay the Fairy Seer and try and dig a little bit. Blocks as expected. Let's see what the deck has for us. On Fallen Shinobi, Fatal Push. Can this? It can, because on... Okay, well, that's good. So we'll just make Ranger Captain of Eos go away, because Ninjutsu actually triggered Revolt, which is kind of amazing. They're going to ephemerate the Ranger Captain of Eos. Sure. They get another 1-drop, which is probably just another... Oh, it's Esper Sentinel. We actually don't have a ton of spells, so that's probably fine. And in the meantime, we'll just set up for next turn with the Chain Outcast and Fairy Seer. Down in the lock, and another Ingenious. Probably good to keep both of those. We probably put Drown top and first Ingenious, because we can cut through with the 2 ninjas first. We'll play out Urborg and see what they do. They get to rebound again. If they flash Ranger Captain, that's actually fine. Although it'll probably be Thraben Inspector to get the other... Oh no, they do flash Ranger Captain, probably to get more Esper Sentinels? Yeah, just a second Esper Sentinel. And now they do get to make their stuff super big, thanks to Showdown of the Scalds. There probably comes a second Showdown. It looks like they're going to pump their big creature, which is fine, because we're going to try and kill that next turn. They got another Ephemerate and a Solitude. Oh man, Showdown of the Scalds and Elementals is now they get to exile 3 of our thing. Probably game over. If they just take out the Changeling Outcast and the Fairy Seer, we can't do what I'm doing next turn, which was Ingenious Trader. And that's probably the end of the game. But we did get to Ninjutsu in a Fallen Shinobi, so I'm counting this as a personal victory, if not a league one. Okay, so they do evoke out the Solitude, go down triggers, they make their things even bigger. I suppose there's an argument to have Borok in the sideboard here for matchups like this, but I didn't know. Okay, so they do kind of see the line where they exile our non-blockable creatures, so we can't just kind of go over. They ephemerate the Solitude again. Solitude, $50 a card. Solitude is the reason why you're not probably going to see a Taxes game from me. I love Taxes. I've played Eldrazi and Taxes for almost a decade at this point. But Solitude being $50 a card and having to spend $200 or like $12 a week renting them is just not something I'm looking for. All right, so we know we're drawing Ingenious Infiltrator, because unfortunately we were very silly and we thought we were going to be able to draw hard. So let's go ahead, run out another Ingenious Infiltrator. Again, like, we have some blockers. They can just start swinging in with Sanctifier if they decide to put, counters on Sanctifier, which I don't see why they're not doing. I really can't block that thing very well, but to each their own. And now every time they play a spell this turn, they're going to get 2 +1/+1 counters to kind of spread around. And it doesn't even have to be on. So our opponent's engine is a lot better than ours. Our opponent is also running much better cards than us. He has Ragavan and Solitude and Fury. Those all 3 of those cards are better than our entire deck, just no cap. All right, they're just making their Solitude bigger and bigger and bigger. Does not look like we're going to get to game 3 here, folks, unless something really cool happens. Oh, they have another Solitude. Hooray. Probably target Fallen Shinobi, because the one way we win is if we actually somehow magically connect with Fallen Shinobi. Yep. I don't see how we would have connected with Fallen Shinobi, but I suppose there was always a looming threat that could somehow magically happen. Back and about that, because just Graveyard Hate, we done. And again, when I had the Graveyard Hate, I actually... Alright, so things continue to happen, one by one by one. We're gonna draw... Yeah, no, we're done here. I don't feel like editing more of this, so that's all for game 1, folks. Ragavan and Solitude and Fury, and really all of Modern Horizons 2. Good cards, highly recommend playing those as opposed to the nonsense you see me play. Alright, we're in round 2, nice and quick. We don't have any enablers right now, so we have to throw this back. This has no ninja. What does it do? Just play unblockable creatures and then die to an actual modern deck, so I think we have to throw this back. Okay, well, I don't think we're going to find anything better than this, so I think we put back the Mishra's Factory and an island, and we do a lot of finger crossing. One thing I have noticed about this particular deck is it's not very, how do you say, consistent? It is very, very swingy. Titan. Either Titan or Boggles with that. We found a Changeling Outcast, though, so I guess if we go runner and we just find a ninja off the top, then we might be able to do something surprising on a Mold of 5. So their plant. 1,000,000% sure what our opponent's doing right now. Inquisition. Well, I suppose we could always find out. Opponent, what are you doing? Oh, this is the Rhino deck. Well, that's why we put Chalices in the side. There's that, and we start the bleeding. But this probably isn't Rhinos if they're making the tokens. This is the one where you pull creatures out of your deck sort of thing. So I suppose there's just big creatures in the deck because they're going to do that sort of chaos warpy thing, which I suppose I could still do now because like I have a Temple Dart and a third thing, so they probably would have played the third Kanali Garden and just make a guy if they didn't have it. Yep, they drew it off the top. See, this is what happens when your opponent has a consistent deck, and you do not. What's going to happen now is, Fury and 2 Karns. I mean, that's not the worst. They do get to take out our creature, but not the worst thing. So they essentially traded all of their silliness for actual cards now. Again, you'll notice Modern, if you're not playing Modern Horizons 2, you're incorrect. We are incorrect. But we might as well sit around here, see what they're going to kill us with. More fun if we know. There's the glimpse tomorrow kind of thing where they just pull all their stuff out of the deck and vomit it onto the field. And Modern has gotten very fast and angry. Liquid metal coatings, so they can start to blow up our lands, which is fine because we'll probably scoop next turn anyway. Yeah, I suppose they don't know what we're doing, and clearly this game is over. All right, and that is how you glimpse of tomorrow. Isn't that fun? So, definitely want Chalice. We definitely want Dampening Sphere. I think anything else? Because they're always just going to flip over into absolute bangers of cards. If they just keep top decking the Shardless Agents, there's absolutely nothing we can do about that. So we're just trying to combo off. There's really no reason to have removal, because once they combo off, I suppose we're already dead. Really no coming back from that, especially if they flop Karns and they just start attacking the graveyard. So I think we can easily cut the Dismember, Fatal Pushes. This is why I like the Drowns, because you can somehow stall them a little bit. They become counter spells. Flusterstorm, Fatal Push, not going to do. Because pretty much now, the whole idea is we just need to stop them before they do that. Loved 2 cards. We have the Payoff Engine, but our opponent goes so fast. I reckon we need a Chalice or at least a Hate Piece. Against most decks, this would be an ideal hand, but I honestly think our entire deck is too slow. So we're gonna throw a mull here. Yeah, they started their game with 7 cards in hand, so at least this one has the Flusterstorm and an Inquisition. Although if we just sit here and don't draw any cards, we feel really stupid and we lose. I guess the plan is just to first turn Inquisition, followed by second turn Dampening Sphere, and then Flusterstorm their thing. Just hope we find more lands, which, I mean, it sounds like a much worse end of the story than the first hand, but we really need to interact with these. Oh, and they have a Gemstone, which is even better, which means turn 2 they can go off, not turn 3, so our Dampening Sphere might even be too low. A mystical. I guess they're expecting. Look at a Watery Grave. See what their hand. So a Glimpse in hand, 1 Misty, and Omnath. So obviously we take the Shardless. The next turn they get to Wave Sifter and put 2 tokens into play, and then just try and find the Shardless, or even just suspend the Glimpse of Tomorrow. Oh, they're just going to do that now. Okay. Land? Land. Okay. So I think what we do here is pretty obvious. we're just gonna punch ourselves in the face. Gotta have to be aggressive here. Play out the dampening sphere. We hope that's enough. Obviously, we really need to find. Oh, here comes the wave sifter. Obviously, we really need to find a chalice or probably Dunsky's, but I think this is the best we could have done against it. Again, this is another Modern Horizons 2 deck. Modern Horizons 2. It's a good set. You should buy and play those cards. Opponent wave sifter and got 2 clue tokens. Come on, big money. Let's find something useful. We find chalice. Beautiful. Chalice on 0. They have an unknown, an Omnath, and a Misty in hand. It's gonna take 2 to play. Do we play it or do we leave up Drown in the? I don't think they have anything that's gonna scare us. So let's go ahead and just play Changeling Outcast. That still has a turn. Let's keep with that for now. I mean, we have our hate pieces, but I'm sure they have Force of Vigor to blow up. Oh, wouldn't you know it? 2 artifacts. So they can just pitch Omnath, 2 Force of Vigor, blow up both our artifacts, and just make us feel bad. Oh, they're drawing. Now, if we had a ninja to capitalize on this and really punish them, that'd be great. Deck? Deck. Sometimes you do reward me. So we swing in, and yeah, we start drawing extra cards in hoping that is enough. Find a land. No, we found a Slitherblade. I can't get too greedy. I agree, deck. You can get too greedy. So they're going to Glimpse now, but we have a Chalice, so that's just going to get countered. And now we're forcing them to play fair, which their deck can do. Don't get me wrong. But I'm hoping by the time they're able to play fair, we will have kind of outdone them. Because pretty much, they have 5 cards, and I guess we attack first, see what we do. Hopefully we draw another land. Otherwise, we have to leave Drown in the lockup. Land? Changing Outcast. No, I think we have to leave our counterspells up because they have other ways of just winning, like hard casting Omnath, which they can do if they just play the Misty next turn. And oh no, did they already play out the Misty? Oh, but they did find a thing. So they are going to crack their Wooded Foothills, find a land, and probably attempt to play Omnath. And now I'm super glad we saved Drown in the Lock to counter their Omnath and put that into the graveyard. They have 6 cards in hand though, so who knows what is going on in there. Does look like Omnath though. Yep, at least for me, can counter that. Okay, so we now have no idea what's in their hand. They have 5 more cards, and they just have Haymakers. Oh, they scoop it up. We get our first win. Oh, okay. We're 1-1, which is better than expected with this deck. We're already in the loser bracket, so what can we hope for this coming time? We can again kind of mull aggressively to our hate piece. I think we saw them scoop so fast because they probably didn't expect us to have Chalices and Dampening Sphere, both of which kind of ruin their... Is there anything we want to change, though? So I bet you we can take King. I don't need Cling, but in a Mystic Dispute, which might come in handy. I mean, it can counter some of their things, but I think just a random Mystical is better than a random. So let's try that. So honestly, I think this is the best. But they are going to have to naturally get to 3 mana in order to play their Cascadey guy. So we get hit for 1 after somehow they played 0 spells turned 1, but somehow had 2 creatures. Oh, the more you write it up. So here's the question. Obviously we play out Watery Grave, give ourselves a little shock, and then play out Changeling Outcast. Do we keep Chalice in the hand? I don't think there's any way, but I might be wrong. Let's play it out on 0. That might be wrong, but I don't honestly know everything they can do. And it's probably better if they just blow up just the Chalice as opposed to blowing up the Chalice and the Dampening Sphere. Because I'm fully anticipating a Force of Vigor. I mean, we know 1 card in hand. It's this big Chancellor thing, which they don't plan on hard casting. Stone Cavern, rather. Yeah, so they have the hate. Fine. They evoke and they get to destroy Chalice of the Void. So apparently now there is a better version of Ingot Chewer. Why wouldn't green have a better version of a red card? Which probably means they just win next turn, but we can put down Dampening Sphere and slow them down again. It's not as good as Chalice on 0, which straight up ruins their day, but Dampening Sphere does turn them off another turn. So shock ourselves? Yeah, probably doesn't matter. If they go off, they go off. We're going to die. Go ahead and put down the second piece of hate. All right, and our opponent takes another 1. Go ahead and pass it back to the opponent and see what they do. Opponent's thinking real hard on our end stuff. Yep, there's Force of Vigor. Okay. So it straight up didn't matter what we did because they had all of the anti-hate cards in their hand. So if they just go off now, yep. Oh, and of course, they have the full combo and all the anti-hate pieces. Why wouldn't they have that in their first 7? I mean, I see this as pure, fair, balanced Magic, guys. I don't see why you wouldn't. Come on, do it. We know you have it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have blown up my thing with Force of Vigor. So here's the Shardless Agent, which cascades into... Oh, wouldn't you look at that? Glimpse of Tomorrow. Oh, but they can blow up our lands, though. Boo, boo, change the story, boo. So now they go get Liquid Metal Coating. So 2 is the most lands we're going to get, if not less. Oh, they just got another Shardless Agent to go again. Opponent cracks their Misty, plays an island, cascades in, finds another again, to try and find better cards, gets the Omnath this time. I don't know if that was correct. Oh, no, but they still get to do the Omnath triggers. I guess they see it when they all come in at the same time. So opponent gets to make some elementals, has an Omnath, has a Foundation Breaker. They got it all, folks. They got it all. What do they discard? Chancellor and Wave Sifter. Yeah. Oh, man. Well, next turn, unfortunately, I think we have to kill Omnath. So, yeah, real quick, let's put him to bed. Swear if you have a Veil of Summer. Okay, cool. We are super behind, though. I don't see us coming back, but, hey, you know, this one isn't necessarily dead and gone, because I guess we could just keep top-decking removal and get rid of their stuff before they get rid of me. So pass to opponent, gets a breeding pool, go out and chalk it. No, they're not going to make my job easy. And they're just going to swing in and deal, I think, 8 damage. Yeah, so next turn, if we don't draw something useful, we're dead. I don't think that counts, but let's go ahead and look at their hand before we scoop, because Brian doesn't spend enough time editing this, and this seems like more fun. 2 more Shardless Agents. Screw this, I'm out. All right, so that's a real quick 2 losses on this one. And I haven't gone 0-5 in one of these yet. That'd be really fun. But yeah, first match, get our teeth absolutely kicked in, and then we did manage to win one in match 2, but let's keep going. Let's see what game 3 looks like, and if we can pull even just one win out of a hat here. All right, folks, going into round 3. We're showing improvement. First game, we lost 2-0. Second game, we lost 1-2. That's improvement, guys, right? All right, let's see what the first 7 is. Also won the die roll, which is nice. 2, this is how you write it up. Might be some kind of Tron deck with Jagatai or humans. So we'll probably even Inquisition turn 1. Hopefully kind of knock them off pace. And then we'll set up with Fairy Seer the next turn. All right, and we start out Dark Slick Shores into Inquisition Kozilek. I have here Bushfire Elemental, Unholy Heat, Dragon Rage Channeler. So we can kill Bushfire Elemental with Dismember. So let's take Dragon Rage Channeler. Kind of. Our opponent is saying they're playing a brew and they're very frustrated. I let him know that I am also playing nonsense. So he's amongst friends here. Mishra's Factory. Well, I guess we can play that now and play our little fairy dude. Tapping for the right color of mana might help. Fairy Seer, we have going on here. I mean, Fairy Seer, 0% chance of surviving now that I think about it. So, yep, that's fine. My poor Fairy do to you. All right, another Fairy Seer and a Urborg. So next turn, we do get to draw because we're going to get out Ingenious Infiltrator, but they're still going to have a Lightning Bolt. And I guess we want to kill Bushfire Elemental with Dismember. I guess we do want both of those. I guess we can go Urborg, then Fairy Seer. We'll draw the Fairy Seer first, and we're going to be dealing ourselves a lot of damage. At least we have a plan. So pass to our opponent, they untap. Probably will play out the Stomping Ground and play Bushfire Elemental. Oh, they're just going to bolt me. Owie. I mean, I'll take a bolt. Oh, because they have a light up the stage. So they're setting themselves up for the Urza Saga Tarmogoyf. There's nothing we can do about those, huh? They just get to play them? Absolutely anything we can do about this? We know their hand. Well, we know 2 cards out of their hand. Play a Tarmogoyf? Fire Elemental. It's big. Play out Snap, then take that out. They just play out Tarmogoyf and remember Tarmogoyf. So let's do that. I guess we can. So let's go ahead and blue, colorless, Snapcaster Mage, Inquisition, black, Inquisition, see what their hand is now. I don't care about the Soul Guide Lantern because we already played our Snapcaster Mage. Now we taunt our opponent. Now, either do. All right, we just get to play Urza Saga Tarmogoyf, Dismember Tarmogoyf, and then Ingenious Infiltrator. Kind of get past it. Yep, there's Urza Saga. You know, I was really hopeful when our opponent said he was playing a Brute, but this just looks like good Magic cards. Our opponent is just playing really good Magic cards. And it's going to get even sadder if they sacrifice that Soul Guide Lantern, because then we can't kill Tarmogoyf. So hopefully we find a hard piece of removal. That's a Fairy Outcast. So we actually can't Ingenious Infiltrator anyway, because Snapcaster Mage, well, I guess if we try it, Well, I guess if we do this, they probably don't see a ninja coming. So if we try and do this now, they'll probably think we're an idiot, and they'll sacrifice Soul Guide Lantern to make it small, and then they just won't block when the Snapcaster attacks, which will allow us to Ingenious Infiltrator, which is probably our best bet for staying alive. Yep. What? Oh, because they got rid of my land. That's funny. That ended perfectly for us. Hold my master plan. Show them how bad at Magic we are. Jitsuing in an Ingenious Infiltrator. Drawing a land we didn't play. You should probably have played that out. I am just punting all over the place here. Well, they're going to make a guy. They have 2 cards in hand. We don't know what either are anymore. Ragavan, this isn't a brew. Dude, this is just Jund. You're just playing Jund. Get hit. What do they find? Bloodstained Mire. Okay, that's fine. All right, Fallen Shinobi. Fallen Shinobi into really good blocking creatures. Island. Good, play at the Minister's Factory. So we'll play Island, attack with Ingenious Infiltrator. We can always play out the Fairy Seer as a blocker. All right, hit our opponent. We get a Ninja the Deep Hours. Yeah, so let's play out Fairy Seer. This still allows us to Snapcaster Dismember. And we're probably dead because we're really low on life. Changeling Outcast bottom, Fatal Push top. But we're putting up a good fight here. I mean, we've been able to interact with our opponent. Here's the first Construct. Now go get probably Shadow Spear. I don't see why they would get anything other than Shadow. Oh, they're not going to make another Construct, which is good for us. Yeah, Shadow Spear. Kind of saw that coming. I have another Urza Saga, though. Dude, on what planet is this a brew? So they cast Ragavan with Dash. Could I equip something with the Shadow Spear? Sure, this seems as good as time as any to do. So, blue, colorless, Snapcaster Mage, Dismember, please and thank you. Deal ourselves roughly 4,000 away because this card is weird. Kill the Ragavan, fizzle their equip, and we can block the Construct token. We're at 4 though against Jund, and this is just straight up Jund despite what our opponent said that it's a brew. Look, I put a Bushfire Elemental into my stock Jund list. I'm such a good brewer. All right, there's the Fatal Push we knew about. Play out Mishra's Factory. Let's see, Fatal Push, silly thing. And then, when in doubt, swing out. We'll have Mishra's Factory as backup here. All right, see what they do. Don't do anything. So, blue, and then we want to find the one that came into play this turn, which is this one. Ninja back, Fairy. We actually get to draw 3 here because of how Ingenious Infiltrator works. We draw 2 because we had 2 ninjas hit them, but then Ninja the Deep Hours has its own draw trigger. So we get to draw a lot, but we're still only at 4, which seems kind of brutal. Let's see. I guess we're dead either way if they have some sort of Bushfire Elemental nonsense. So let's go ahead and play out Fairy Seer. Drown in the Lock, Ingenious. I would like both. Drown on the Lock, top, and then Ingenious. And we'll just start drawing our opponent here at this point. If they have another Ragavan, that's annoying because I get to gain life off of that. But, you know, we really didn't have anything to stop Ragavan. Activating Den of the Bugbear. Okay. Doesn't have Menace, does it? No, it's just a 3-2. So they'll get in for 1. And trade a Fairy Seer for Goblin token. Okay, opponent is tapped out. We're at 3, 4, 6, and then Mishra's Factory is lethal. Good measure here. We'll get them both. GG. All right, our opponent lets us go to the next one. So I can't say this enough. Against regular old Jund. Against not a brew, but just Jund. Oh, man. I guess Cling could be fine. Truth good. Cluster Storm, no. Nile Spellbomb, no. Pithing Needle, no. Ashiok, maybe. Mystical Dispute, no. Chalice, no. Emrakul. What's bad? Nothing looks bad, is there? Need this Cling to Dust, or we just run it back? Well, these cards actually seem amazing. It's probably fine as is, but we'll go ahead and, a minute before hitting go, make it look like we're doing 2 Thought Seizes, Snapcaster Mage, and a Changeling Outcast. Now, before Ragavan, before Dragon Rage Channeler, this would actually be amazing to pick apart Jund's hand before they really had a chance to do anything. They kept 7, which probably means they have just like such an uber hand, because if they just turn 1 Ragavan and we don't have an answer, we're probably dead. Let's go ahead and mull. This is worse. Okay, well, this is just our first hand, but worse. So we'll put back Fairy Seer, Changeling Outcast, and we'll start with the essentially our same hand, but worse now. Hopefully we can find a second land. Our opponent stomping ground into something. Oh, Shadow Spear. As far as 1-drops go, that's probably the least threat. Bauble, also known as I play a 56-card deck, not a 60-card deck. A Drown in the Lock. Well, that's not a land. That's not a good thing. But let's go ahead and Inquisition. Soul Guide Lantern, Bushfire Element. Why did they keep in Soul Guide Lantern? Okay, well, we got rid of their creature. They really don't have a ton going on. Got, like, some artifacts. I guess if they find an Urza Saga, they straight up win. because we are going to move slow, especially if we don't find a land. If we don't find a land, I look very dumb. There's the forest. There's the Soul Guide Lantern. Yep, you take my Inquisition. Go for it. And kind of amazed it's still in your deck, but whatever works for you. Land, 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 land. Woo, land. All right. We have to check what's in their hand. If it's like a Goyf or something, that also kills. Looks like they're going to bolt us, and then they'll have nothing in their hand. Yep, there's the bolt, which is fine, because that saves Changeling Outcast. Oh, we get rid of an Unholy Heat. And now they just have a Wooded Foothills in their hand? And we're not doing ourselves any favors, because we have to get a Watery Grave to get down Changeling Outcast. But from there on out, if they don't draw anything of note, or even if they just draw a Tarmogoyf, we're in a good spot. Now, don't get me wrong. If they draw not a Tarmogoyf, if they draw Ragavan, if they draw Dragon Rage Channeler, we're in a world of shit. But who knows? It's a brew. They're playing a brew. It could be anything. Oh man, could even be a Brushfire Elemental. Oh man, isn't it Jun's fall from grace when people are like, "I'm playing Jank. I'm playing a stock Jun list with Brushfire elements." He's Zendikar. Okay. So we get to Ninja of the Deep Hours, which I think is correct to try and outdraw them and win this game in a drawing contest as opposed to trying to do anything creative with it. Go Changeling Outcast. Yeah. Can you block? I think so. So blue, Ninja Vanish. No, I was never a Changeling Outcast. What would make you think that? I was always a Ninja of the Deep Hours, Popper All-Star. This is your 1-card bit of removal. Nope. So we draw an Infiltrator, which will be cool for next turn. Again, we're just going to keep hitting ourselves, and we're just going to keep trying to set ourselves up to be more and more dominant. Because next turn, we'll probably draw 3 and hope that we find the land. And we're shields down at this point, so they can do whatever they want. Why didn't they crack their foothills? Opponent in the tank a bit. I mean, they have 4 minutes on us. They finally cracked their foothills, seemingly remembering that it is on the board. They also have a Soul Guide Lantern that they could just crack to draw another land. They get another bite at the apple. Comes into play tapped. Ooh, no. You get to find whatever they want? Not good. What do they want? Probably Dragon Rage? Seems like it would be the smartest thing to get. Oh, actually, you want to know what would be the best? Would be Urza's Saga. There it is. Okay. Urza's Saga hurts. Oh, but now we have 4,000 ways to make them hate the world. You think the guy who made this deck, again, if you watch any of his stuff, he plays like a commander thing. Oops. And in that commander league, there's a guy who's actually his boss who like owns... I somehow made an extra... Hold on. Who owns MTG Goldfish, and he loves Jund. So maybe he just designs all of his budget decks to beat Jund, just to remind Jund players that, hey, I can sit here and play a pile of draft chaff, and I can make you do circles just around your deck, wondering how my silly little ninja deck, which has now Ancestral Recalled, is just doing you this much. Okay, so we play out the Outcast, because we can always Bloodstain Mire, and then we'll even have Revolt for Fatal Push. So let's see what they do. Of course, Urza's Saga goes up, so they can now make constructs. They also have 2 unknowns in hand, so never sleep on Jund. Now, it looks like they're just going to pass and let us kill it, so we'll go ahead and crack this now. Get a Watery Grave tapped. It does seem like we're going to get to draw a lot of cards. Oh, now they're going to... I mean, sure, you could do that now. Doesn't stop what we're going to do. So, this, and... this Veil of Summer. Well, you know what? Go ahead and counter that, because I think that we could just kill the construct token. I find this funnier. And we get to Ingenious anyway and draw roughly 1 million cards. You gotta love it. So swing, move to block. This is the new achievement unlocked, which is drawing roughly 1,000 cards. It might be a little bit lower than that, but this is a high number of cards we get to draw on this. Holy crap! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drawn cards. Oh man, this is awesome. This is so dumb, but this is awesome. So we draw a Grizzlebrand grip. They're down to 5. We have to discard. Rid of the fetches. Oh my god, that was amazing. This is why you play this deck. You don't play it to win. You play it to draw more cards than Grizzlebrand. All right, so they make a construct, which is fine. They get to give it lifelink too, also fine, because we have Fatal Push with Drown in the Lock backup because we drew, and I can't put this out there enough. 1 million cards last turn. Oh man, there you go, guys. We beat a brew. No one's ever heard of it. No one's ever heard of this modern brew. Why don't people play this all the time? Why has no one thought of this? Oh my god. Come on. Delta off. You know you wanna. Yay! Yay! We got there! Yay! Take that, Jund. Oh my god, we drew so many cards. So for those of you who got to this point in the video, oh man, that felt so good. That felt amazing. Okay, well, we got our 1 win. I do not care what happens anymore. We got to draw a million cards. That'll be the teaser at the beginning of the video. My god. See you guys for round 4. I gotta go take a cold shower. We got round 4. For those of you keeping track at home, we've had our own achievements. We got to hit somebody with Fallen Shinobi. That's always fun. We got to draw like 7 cards off of ninja triggers in one game. That was amazing. Oh, man. And we won a die roll? Oh, my God. Everything's coming up Millhouse. This is a perfect hand. We're going to go ahead and keep. We got 2 lands, enablers, payoff, and a hand disruption. So, as per the laws of Modern, first thing I have to do is look at my opponent's hand, see what they're up to. Remand? What year is it? I'll take Snapcaster Mage, because next turn we'll get to get down our creature, and then from there we'll be able to just ninjutsu out as opposed to having to play out anything, so the remands will be relatively dead for a while. They'll probably play Polluted Delta, I'm willing to bet. Used to make the most sense. Oh no, they just play out Steam Vent. Okay. I guess they don't mind drawing more lands. What do we draw? We draw a Cling to Dust, which might be helpful later, but for now, we'll go ahead and just put 2 creatures out. This is some sort of control, so it's no problem shocking ourselves. Black, and we'll put out a Changing Outcast, and blue, and a Fairy Seer, and we'll get to Crafter Deck a little bit. Wouldn't be bad to find a land. Polluted Delta, Urborg. So, there is a chance our opponent is Grixis, so we're going to put Urborg away, and we're just going to keep the Polluted Delta, which doesn't really matter because the Polluted Delta would shuffle stuff up anyway, but assuming our opponent doesn't draw something particularly useful, we should be able to hit them with a ninja, because they have Remand mana up. They're clearly just keeping up Remand. But you can't Remand a ninja trigger. Did you know that? We'll go ahead and swing. I doubt they see this coming. No one ever sees it. So, fun fact, folks. The Changeling Outcast is a shapeshifter, which means it's every creature type, including ninja. So we get to draw 2 here. Never sees the ninja. For those of you old enough to remember I Am Ninja, I never actually watched his stuff, but his theme song is just obnoxious enough for me to remember. We draw 2, and we'll just pass. Do what they're up to. Because right now, we're winning on several fronts. We don't need to let them cycle Remand. We can hold up Fatal Push and Cling to Dust for whatever nonsense they're doing. Okay. Blood Moon. Okay. I'll go get an island. So this is just Blue Moon, it looks like. Blue. Yeah. Because we're going to get to draw a whole bunch of cards again. And now we even get to keep up Drown in the Lock because we naturally just have the colors. Let's go ahead and just swipe in, draw 2 more, and draw, and draw. We have 7 cards in hand. What are the chances whatever they play is only 1 mana? Because they're not going to fetch any. Plus the shields are down, so the remands don't do anything. Let's just play out Fairy Seer and try and find more lands, or at least make our deck full of mountains kind of go away. Yep, nope, we don't want either of these. So we still have Cling to Dust and Fatal Push up. I have to imagine there'll be a Thing in the Ice or something that they'll play out. Because we can Fatal Push and then Drown in the Lock next turn when they're out. Looks like a Cryptic. Fine, we can't do anything about that. Let's go and try and swing. It's Cryptic. No, okay, well. Yeah, we get to draw 2 every time we hit you. So we'll see what you're up to. Try and find something worth grabbing here. Fallen Shinobi, that'll be good for next turn. And another Fatal Push, okay. So, what are you doing? Archmage's Charm. Target opponent draws 2 cards. Nothing I can do about that. I suppose I should have played out a land, because then I would have to discard less, but I suppose I'm just having a little bit too much. We'll just get rid of it. And then next turn we get to Fallen Shinobi, assuming they don't do anything creative here. Or Mountain. And so at end step, I'll go ahead and Cling to Dust, Archmage's Charm, find something cool. Drown in the Lock. Okay. Well, we have to use all of our color sources anyway to do this, so let's go for it. See if we even actually get to combat. Oh, no, we do. Okay. Swing. Block. No bolts? No nothing? I'm amazed the deck is behaving this much. Ninja, Vanish. Fallen Shinobi, what do we hit? Oh, they're gonna bounce that back to our hand. We still get to draw 2 cards. Just a glut of cards here. Okay, let's play the land this time, Brian. Don't forget that part. Yeah. And we'll just kind of get rid of some things that don't matter. Opponent Ops in our end step. All right, we got to get rid of 3 cards. Rid of 1 Fatal Push, 1 Fairy Seer, 1 Drown. This way we still have a bit of everything. Still have 2 Drown Locks. We still have a Fatal Push. I mean, we're going to try and Fallen Shinobi again. At this point, that just kind of represents lethal, so they can be fancy about it, but that's what we're going to do. So let's attack. They have another Brazen Borrower that's kind of annoying, but again, we're just kind of swinging for lethal. So this is lethal unless they have a trick, which I'm assuming they do. Yep, another one. Wonder how many of those they play that they just have so many, but we'll knock them down to 5 and draw yet another card. Come on, Colored Source. Yay, Colored Source. Now we get to Fairy Seer. Make the mountains go. We? Oh, no. The remand! The remand 40 years later. How could I forget? Oopsie. They bolt our thing? Yeah. Okay. Got ourselves a game. So we want to keep the Fatal Push. We don't need both Fairy Seers. We don't need the Fatal. We have 2 Drown in the Locks, Thoughtseize, and Ingenious Infiltrator. I finally got to play something big. Is this like a Rowan or something? Oh, it's Emrakul. Oh, this game just got... They're playing a version of a deck I used to play, and it's as old as the one I used to play. So we lose everything. Oh boy. Got a 1? I think that's all, folks. We go out on our own terms, or are they gonna... Okay, well, at least we know what they're doing now. Oh, Watery Grave, we're done here. I have to admit, folks, Huber's got me there. I thought we were gonna win that one, but let's go to the sideboard. So against Old Through the Breach. Really Old Through the Breach. Let's go ahead and bring in our Echoing Truths. Actually, no, those don't work, because Emrakul's protected from colors. What are we doing here? Treat it like a roll game and disputes and act, but things red. You disputes don't. They're gonna have like Snapcasters and stuff, and of course we saw the little bouncy creatures. We can go ahead and get rid of those. We can probably get rid of Fatal Push too. If they switch over to Thing in the Ice, that's kind of annoying. We still Drown a lot. What do we want to bring in then? Dampening Sphere? We're using filter lands. We can see filter. I didn't use a ton of filter. I gotta have like Remands and stuff because I gotta be trying to find their combo. Our Hand Disruption's amazing. And actually, Cling to Dust is good, and then we'll keep 1 Fatal Push that will inevitably draw, and I'll feel bad. Oh no, we get to keep 2 Fatal Push. That's probably like that. I would love to play first. Fallen Shinobi. This is fine. We can make our one of our lands go away. They got Blood Moon. They can always make it hard for us. In the meantime, we'll go ahead and just get a basic swamp. Start to their hand here. Barb, Opt, Snaps, Opt. Next turn they go Island Go. Get to put down 2 of our enablers. 1, 2. If we find a land in the top 2, we're actually only 2 turns away. So, assuming nothing bad happens to our crew, because they will just Brazen Borrow. So I guess we want to put Ninja top and then Thoughtseize. Fortunately, we need Thoughtseize first. So we'll go ahead and pass on that note. Our opponent will land go. So let's play out Watery Grave in case they're doing silly Thought Sneak. Lightning Bolt. 2 Brazen Borrowers? Ugh, well, that gets rid of 2 spells maybe. Because our ninjas are kind of really soft to Brazen Borrower. The card I haven't had to run into a lot because it's actually pretty out there. They're 5 card. Right, and the next turn we're drawing a ninja, which they get to borrow, which probably go land go again. This isn't good. I wish we were developing our board more. They can just start snap hopping. I guess they won't. They'll start Brazen Borrow, flashing stuff back. Ninja, pick this up, because at least then we'll get to sculpt our hand. Ninja, play ninja, bounce thing. Nothing out of the ordinary here. Yep. Ooh, Snapcaster. It's a little late to block, if that's what you were thinking. Misty Rainforest. I like it. That means next turn we get to Fallen Shinobi, maybe, who knows. Let's crack this. Opt. Watery Grave. Right to the bottom, by the way, in case anybody's wondering. And we will scry. Let's push the bottom. Snapcaster Mage will leave. That means next turn we can bin their Brazen Borrower. Keep swinging in. They could just counter, though. Well, this will force the issue, so. Snapcaster Mage. Seems like oh, they don't. Probably want to take Brazen Bar, so we'll just do Inquisition, save ourselves some life. I mean, if they have Mountain Through the Breach, everyone has their permission to yell at me in the comments. No Mountain, though. So there's Brazen Bar, go away. Well, or we say goodbye, let's attack. And they could totally trade, Snap for Ninja the Deep Hours. I'm not going to sit here and play footsie with it. Alright, so we need them to not find a Mountain. Or a fetch land. Ooh, we might be getting there. There's Slitherblade, but actually, what would be the best is if we got to steal Emrakul off the top of their deck. Let's go ahead and ninjutsu our boy. Pull back the fairy. Seems like we're gonna get a hit in. Do we get to do it? Oh boy. Yes! Yes! We get to steal Emrakul. Oh, that's the best thing ever. Take that, Breach. Take that. Going to game 3. All right. Oh man, you can do some really cool things with this deck, I will say. That seemed to work. Snapcaster Mage, proven why I put them in the deck in the first place. Alright, Ground, Shinobi, Mission. Doesn't actually do anything because Ground and the Locks are not counter spells. So we're gonna have to go back to the well. We could try real hard. Let's go ahead and put back an Ingenious Infiltrator and hope in the first 3 cards, because we're gonna actually first 4 cards. There's at least 1 more land. Well, so far no. On Fairy Seer, Ingenious Infiltrator to the bottom, Swamp to the top. And then next turn, we have an Ingenious Infiltrator, although our opponent has been very good about having Petty Theft in there. Island does nothing. Hands full of Remands, I'm sure. Ramp. So let's swing. Opponent does nothing. Infiltrator. We get to draw. They have petty theft. Shocker. I don't think they mold either, so must be nice. Oh, they actually get red mana too. Now they're just going to remand Fairy Seer, which is annoying. So let's run out Fairy Seer, see if we can bait out any sort of counter. Oh, nope, they're just going to let us do this. Fallen Shinobi bottom, Fairy Seer bottom. We need lands. And Thoughtseize. We have 2 of these, so hopefully they don't remand this. Looks like they're gonna do something. Bolting Fairy Seer, though. They're just letting it go. No, they're doing something. Oh, nope, just a hardcast Mystical Dispute. Which is fine, because we have another Thoughtseize in our hand. So if we draw a land, that's great. If we play a Blood Moon, that's fine. Best thing for us would be just to pass. Nope, they're gonna do something. Oh. Big boy. Very big boy. That's why they didn't want us doing that. Okay, okie dokie. Their life total can't change, but we can still steal stuff with Fallen Shinobi. So I guess what we want to do, because it's going to take a while for them to get 8 cards in their graveyard, do this, and then Thoughtseize again. Cryptic, Archmage's Charm. Archmage's Charm can steal our thing. See, these are all best. I guess we get rid of Cryptic, because we can counter the other one. We're going to take a hit from Platinum, though. That's not a good thing, because we need to find something that'll, like, bounce that to their hand or something. How did I forget that Platinum Imperion was part of this deck? Okay, so quick history time, guys. I played Eldrazi and Taxes for like a solid 2 years before I bought a second Modern deck, and this is the second Modern deck I bought. I bought the Breach combo, and this looks like an old Breach deck too, so this is my past coming back to haunt me. Okay. Land? Fairy Seer. Bad. And just have... So we're probably not dealing damage, so we're probably not drawing off a ninja because the life total can't change. I guess best thing we can do is Fairy Seer and try and find our answers here. We're just trying to survive until they have enough cards in their graveyard that Drown in the Loch kills Platinum Imperium. I don't know if we're going to be around that long. They should really just flash in Brazen Bar now. Oh, they're going to play Omen. The question is, did they take out Emrakul for Platinum Imperium? Which they might have. Things in with Platinum Imperion. Fine, we'll happily trade one of our dudes. You can't block, but we might as well... Next turn, last Fairy Seer is our last kind of chumpy McChump blocker. We need to get them to get another 4 cards in the graveyard for Drown to do anything. Guess we do. Another one in there. We have to find another Drown. We have another Mystical Dispel. I guess we're just fighting the good fight here now, folks. Now we have to take a hit from Platinum. No, we're just dead. So I believe that does it. We got to do something really cool. Again, we got another one for the highlight reel. But yeah, 1 in hey, remember when I said 1 in 5? With the exception of the first match, this hasn't been that bad. The first match was really just, getting absolutely doinked out of the game by Ragavan. But getting to draw roughly 1 million cards in the game we won, and getting to steal Emrakul take another turn, which probably led them to do the Platinum Imperion trick, also not too bad. So yeah, here we are. Let's go for our last round, see if we can do anything cool. All right, folks, last one. See if we can steal 50 points back from this league. Up against Milliman. Luck on, my friend. In all caps, apparently, because I hit the wrong button. But we are going second. So, let's see. I guess we can find stuff with Fairy Seers. This is not too bad. This will look like fairies for a little bit. Oh, up against Tron. How did Tron get in the 1 in 3 bracket? Dark Slick Shore. Fairy Do. Fatal Push, Thoughtseize. So Fatal Push isn't going to do anything. So that goes to the bottom. Thoughtseize might be creative. Let's keep Thoughtseize. Go through the turn. So next turn is Fairy Seer, Thoughtseize, and next turn for our opponent, I have to imagine, is just, just kind of setting themselves up here. They have their 1 mana tutor, and they find Expo map, and then they play a land and they play an Expo map. Boy, I wish we could draw a ninja, but no, we're going to draw a Thoughtseize, because I put it up there. Thoughtseize. Well then, we'll take the Scry. Boy, do they have a lot going on. Fairy's here. We now have enough lands to Fallen Shinobi, though, so we can put any lands we find at the bottom. Dismember does nothing. Slitherblade, not where we want to be. We want to find a ninja. But in the meantime, we'll go ahead and just smack them around. Because next turn, they'll play Chromatic Sphere and crack the map. Or crack the map and then play Chromatic Sphere for doing the correct order of operations here. I mean, they have a bunch in their graveyard, so we can now start to counter the Karns. Nothing we can do about Ulamog. There's the Sphere. The next turn, we do get to counter their Karn, and then we start Fallen Shinobiing them, and they have a lot of tasty things we get to steal from them with Fallen Shinobi. Swing in. I mean, then again, if they just find the Tron piece without having to spend any mana, they get to Ulamog us straight up out of the game. Wait, why didn't they cast Ulamog? I be confused. Oh, Eugene. 1, 5, 6. Not 7, 8. Okay, we're good here. Wee, Tron! Magic is a skilled game, and the better player always wins. The 2 Dampening Sphere, 1 Ashiok. What do we take out? Against normal Tron, we could take out Dismember. We could take out the Fatal Pushes. Because if they get to the point where they're playing big Worm Coils, we're done anyway. Put in 2 Echoing Truths to try and make the game go slightly longer. Let's find out. Maybe our games are a bell curve. They start low, we kind of peak in the middle at winning 1 round, and then again we end just low again. But this has definitely not been the game, or even the league, to do a whole bunch. Like, don't get me wrong, I have a giant smile on my face because the things we've gotten to pull off with Fallen Shinobi are absolutely amazing. They're so much fun. That being said, you win very few games, and with Magic Online, you pay to play. You know, every time you join a league, it's $10 American. So I spent $10 American for a giggle. You know. Let's see, what do we got here? Yeah, we can screw with this. There's no creature in here, you know, other things. So pre-combat, Delter, and yield through the turn. Let's see, our opponent's first play is a tower. Do they have the map? Oh no, they have Sphere. That's not the worst. Oh, we should have Thoughtseize turn. I am out of magic. Let's go ahead and get, because I was gonna get the island. I see what I am too smart for my, so okay, cool. Play Urborg. We're in no rush. They're not gonna draw next turn. We'll go ahead and Thoughtseize now. Oh boy, a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, you can keep Relic, taking away the thing that helps you find your other one. So Emrakul the Promised End, Ulamog Ceaseless, Karn Liberated, and the Power Plant. Relic, you can Relic as much as you want. I am gonna turn off your Tron. Bibbidi, Bobbidi, and Bibbidi. Okay. I wonder if they would have thought to bring in Artifact Hate against us. Oh, of course. Okay, go off. Go off. Uncounterable things are uncounterable. I'll play Watery Grave, hit ourselves, and we'll just play out Ninja the Deep Hours. We gotta do something. You know, we're not gonna counter anything of note for 2, because what they're gonna do now is they're gonna blow up. Oh no, they're gonna tick up Blast Zone. The next turn, they're gonna blow up Blast Zone. They're gonna get rid of the Dampening Sphere, because Tron is a deck that won't die. They've made so many cards specifically designed to assassinate Tron, and it's just not going to happen. The only thing they could possibly do is ban the Tron land. Because until you do that, or like print Wasteland into Modern, it's just not going to be a thing. Well, I guess they want to find the Tron land before they bother to blow up the Sphere, because I suppose in theory that slows me down. Okay, that makes our Drown the Locks turn to nothing, which is fine. As long as our Dampening Sphere continues to be a lot, these are things we are happy keep happening. The Ninja the Deep Hour hopefully finds Fallen Shinobi. So next turn we get to Fallen Shinobi and feel like a Karn Liberated. What do we find? A Swamp. Not as excited as Fallen Shinobi, but some might say more powerful. All right, so they got nothing to do, which means they're gonna blow up Dampening Sphere next. They're just gonna do it right. Oh no, they have Cleanup. So play the Swamp, play a Fairy Seer, try and set ourselves up for something useful next turn. Genius Infiltrator, which will help us draw more cards, and Dark Slick. Dark Slick is definitely the bottom. We don't actually get to Ingenious until next turn, but then we get to draw 3 next turn, which is fine. No reason to play the Snapcaster out into the Blast Zone either. They'll just do that on our end step. There's the Infiltrator. Do we just play Infiltrator out? Is there a reason to play Infiltrator out? They play Karn Liberated, they just start zooping up our lands, or they play Ulamog and start zooping up our lands. There's like nothing we could do once Ulamog's on the field. We play out Infiltrator. There's really no... I guess in theory, they could play a one-man artifact and we'll want to drown it, so I guess we won't. We can always snap for no reason at the end of turn in Ingenious anyway. So here comes the Blast Zone, I would imagine. Opponent thinking real hard about the blowing up of Blast Zone. I don't know why they would, because all you need to do is get Tron and then dumpster me with Tron. Previously stated, Tron, you hook. Our opponent went to the back. I wonder if my opponent realizes that it's them. They haven't disconnected. Kind of sitting there. It'd be a real weird way to win if they just timed out. They won game 1. Oh, nope, they're back. Back from their tea break. Warping Whale. Oh, because it's 3 to do Blast Zone. Oh, so they have to spend all next turn doing it too. Oh, no. Brian, no. You could have drowned that, Brian, and then it wouldn't have been a problem. Would not have been a problem. But now it's back to them, and now they get to pass, and now you lose the game because it's dumb. How is it that I was here for 10 minutes and I didn't realize I had to play? Please do something else. Please give me the chance to unscrew myself here. Nope, damn it. Well, let's push the topic here. Blast Zone, boom. Huh? What? They let me take that back. Okay. Huh, that's even more interesting. So I think the first thing we do is we swing. We draw 3 via the Ingenious Infiltrate. So just casually Ancestral Recalling, don't mind me. Oh! Yeah, they see their punt and they scoop it up. Okay. I'm going to take a minute and refill my water bottle, folks. But, yeah, we're just going to run that back. No hate pieces, plenty of enablers. So, turn 1 they go start a value train, but by then they have Tron and they've ripped us out of the game. Which is sad because it's actually a really good hand, but we probably need an interact. Boy, this has no... well, actually, Mishra's Factory counts as an enabler, I suppose. It's slow, but at least we get the turn 1. So let's go ahead and put back Ingenious Infiltrate. We're going to have to use... Nope. And there's their thing to get stuff. Oh, no. Okay, could be worse. Hopefully Inquisition kind of knocks them off their balance here. Speaking of which, well, Worm Coil Engine, and a Mine. They only need 1 more piece. But next turn, we get to keep up a Drought in the Lock? Shrug? Is that better? I don't think that's better. No. Well, if we find a Thoughtseize, we get to die to Worm Coil. That's not a Thoughtseize, that's an Inquisition. Like, we know their hand, don't we? A Power Plant. Worm Coil Engine. That's so sad. We were doing so well. Sure. We'll play out the island. I don't know. Maybe they'll accidentally yield through their entire turn. I mean, I've done sillier things. Oh, no, they're not gonna. Okay. For land. What? Really? Round's not good. I don't know why we're still playing. You didn't have to give us a turn. You really didn't. Now the old you shouldn't have? Really shouldn't have. Sure. Well, folks, we're gonna be in the wrap up soon. Looks like we really did kind of peak in the middle. And we'll look at the scores. It looks like why are you still not exiling our lands? What are you doing, and why are you doing it this way? Play a Worm Coil Engine. Go home, Tron. You were 47 turns too late. See, take the other Worm Coil, but now they have a Worm Coil Engine on the field and a Carbureted, which could have just exiled our 2 lands, and then we'd be straight. It would have been a perfect victory for them. I don't understand why they do that. We're just gonna scoop here, folks. There's no coming back from this. You know, I don't mind losing to Tron, but to lose to a Tron player who's playing suboptimally, you know, that's it's like a perfect bell curve. Okay, let's take a quick break, and I'll be back with the wrap. Okay, so what have we learned here today? Learned that again, it's a lot of fun to play Jank. I had a lot of fun playing Simic Snow Stompy. I had a lot of fun playing Dimir Ninjas. Are these decks good? No, not even close to good. Don't get me wrong. They're absolutely hilarious and fun to play. Smile ear to ear the whole time. You're not going to win. You're not going to go 5-0. You're not going to go 3-2. So I've been playing Magic for a while. My first set was the original Portal. If any of you want to Google that and, you know, remind me how old I am. But my God, did we have some just absolutely just straight up spankings when we went into that league. Is there any changes to the deck I would make? Hard to say, because I think the problem with the deck is the deck. If you have enough time to get your engine going, to draw, you know, 3 cards a turn, to draw, you know, 7 cards one turn you saw, which more or less is just a way of winning the game. Getting a hit in with Fallen Shinobi normally is enough to win the game. But there's no ramp in this deck. There's no ramp into me. So it's going to be turn 4 when Fallen Shinobi's swinging in. And you really do need a very specific hand to set that up. You need 2 lands. You need an enabler. You need a ninja. So that's 4 cards in your opening 7 that have to be a certain way. And then you have your interactions. You have your Inquisition. You have your Thoughtseize. You have all these other things that would be nice. But I can think of a whole bunch of things that would be nice. Should you play ninjas? If you think what I did was hilarious, absolutely, I would play ninjas. Same thing with Simic Snow Stompy. If you think Simic Snow Stompy was funny, you know, if you think paying 3 mana and drawing 6, play Simic Snow Stompy. If you think playing Ninja of the Deep Hours, Ingenious Infiltrator, and Fallen Shinobi as the core of your deck, absolutely play this. But again, you're not going to win a GP. You might be able to spike an FNM depending on how meta your local gaming group is, but you'd be able to do funny things. I wouldn't have this as your only deck, especially since, guys, if we look at this deck as is, this is not a cheap deck. I even cheaped out on some of the pieces. I don't have all the polluted deltas, and this is not a cheap deck. But it is a hilariously fun deck. And every now and then it is nice to look at Magic and not do meta stuff and just kind of do off the wall, haha, I'm going to do this for my own entertainment. We're going to go ahead and, again, take another page out of MTG Goldfish's playbook and take some of the funner moments and maybe put them at the beginning of the video and see if that tempts anyone to keep watching. Because dear God, do you have to get through 2 brutal games before you even see me win once, and then, you know, see the ninjas draw 7 cards, see, you know, a steal Emrakul and take it from there. But yeah, no, I think that was good. Again, just smile ear to ear while recording this, even though we got our teeth kicked in, and we more or less just handed $10 directly to Hasbro and said, "Here, I had some fun on your system here, so here's $10. Don't spend it all in one place." All right, guys, I will see you next time. If you have anything you'd like me to take a shot at playing, do let me know. I try and get about one of these out a week. Who knows if I'm going to be able to do that? I'm thinking, as much as I hate to say this out loud, I think maybe Legacy. I've been very hesitant to play because the meta looks a little iffy, but who knows? Maybe we will. So let's see if I see you guys next week, and let's see if I bring out my favoritist and only Legacy deck on MidGo out for a stroll. All right, folks, I will see you then. Bye.